Legend of Zelda video games are absolutely incredible. They offer captivating stories, exhilarating gameplay, and innovative mechanics you won't find in any other video games. Just take the mask mechanic in Majora's Mask, allowing Link to transform into different characters with unique abilities depending on the mask he uses. Another breathtaking example is in Wind Waker, where Link commands the winds, enabling him to glide with his leaf or sail across the vast seas. And who can forget the groundbreaking Z-targeting mechanic from Ocarina of Time, which has become a standard in modern 3D titles. But you know what's even more mesmerising? Oracle of Seasons has a unique mechanic of its own, the incredible Rod of Seasons. With this magical rod, players can manipulate the seasons in the game, shifting from winter to spring, then to summer, and then autumn. Each season drastically impacts the environment, completely influencing how you interact with it. Picture this: the same area affected by all 4 seasons. In winter, trees lose their leaves, revealing hidden paths, and lakes freeze, allowing you to walk over them. In spring, colourful flowers bloom, providing springboards to launch yourself into the air. Summer brings forth lush vines, giving you the chance to climb up walls. And in autumn, mushrooms sprout, allowing you to clear your path. Can you imagine the thrill of exploring these ever-changing landscapes? It's pure gaming magic. But wait, Oracle of Seasons' brilliance doesn't end there. Its overall design keeps you engaged and entertained throughout the entire 12-hour adventure. Don't just take my word for it. This game has received rave reviews across the industry. So what makes Oracle of Seasons so enjoyable? Is there a secret formula behind its greatness? Is there a systematic approach that unveils the elements that make this game an absolute masterpiece? Let's dive into the intriguing world of level design patterns to find out. In my quest for answers, I stumbled upon a research paper called Level Design Patterns in 2D Games, published in 2019. The authors discuss 6 different patterns found across various video games: guidance, safe zones, foreshadowing, layering, branching, and pace breaking. Today we'll focus on the mesmerising guidance patterns and uncover how they come to life in Oracle of Seasons. So, get ready for a captivating journey of exploration and discovery. The guidance pattern refers to the use of non-verbal game elements to guide the player's attention or curiosity, both towards making direct progress in the game, as well as in the direction of a secret or a collectible. Picture this: you encounter this Zila in Super Metroid, an enemy in a seemingly inaccessible area. What do? It's a hint, a nudge, telling you to find a way to access that spot. Maybe there's a hidden platform you can reveal, or perhaps it's a sign of things to come. It's all about keeping your eyes peeled for exciting possibilities. And collectibles? Collectibles are like breadcrumbs leading you on the path of epic adventures. Take, for example, Donkey Kong Country 2. Those bananas teasing you at the end of a precipice. Should you risk it for the bananas? Well, there might be an incredible secret waiting for the daring. After you go for those bananas, you not only learn that there might be hidden paths in the game, but you also get introduced to a mini-game when you get a reward for completing it. And did you notice the arrow made of bananas pointing the way? Brilliant. You won't believe how the map itself becomes a guiding beacon. Classic platformers like Mario Bros use this smart trick to perfection. Look at level 1. Starting on the left edge means you go right. No turning back, just endless adventure. In Super Mario World, it's the same. Stacked platforms suggest going up, and guess what? There's a whole new world up there. In Oracle of Seasons, designers skillfully use the guidance pattern by introducing limitations. The map opens up new areas as you progress, easing you into the game. But here's the clever part. It's a 2D top-down view, so it strategically controls your exploration while maintaining that irresistible essence of adventure. If you pay attention to how the game is structured, you'll see that these limitations work at the macro and micro level. So, for instance, after the player completes the second dungeon, Sneak's Remains, and obtains the power bracelet, they get access to this area of the world map, the macro level. However, you won't be able to pass through these holes on the ground, or this ledge, until you help Ricky recover his boxing gloves that he lost fighting a guy at this boxing gym. This set of tasks is the micro level. Now let's delve into the game's opening, where the guidance patterns works its magic from the get-go. The game starts with Link falling from the sky. Din finds him completely knocked out and rescues him. Notice on the left image how the player is given only 3 areas to explore. This is the macro level in action. In this limited area, the player can familiarise with how moving the character works. Also, they are introduced to one of the mechanics of the game, interacting with non-playable characters, as the player cannot progress unless they first talk to Din, then with everybody around her, and finally with her again. Doing this unlocks the sequence that tells us the story of the game. Din happens to be the Oracle of Seasons, and with her imprisonment and the burying of the Temple of Seasons will bring chaos and nothing will thrive, opening the path for darkness to fall upon Holodrum, so on and so forth. So essentially, we'll have to fight the bad guy, Onyx, rescue Din, and bring stability back to Holodrum. What happens in the first unlocked area of the map was limitation at the micro level in action. Effectively, the designers have guided the player by narrowing down their possibilities of exploration within the map to pretty much 3 areas, the macro level, and their range of things to do is only interacting with NPCs, the micro level. After this prologue, the true adventure begins, and the mystery of the implementation of the guidance pattern truly manifests. So again, Link is completely knocked out, but this time in a different area. Impa comes to his rescue and tells him who she really is, what just happened, and what to do next. As counterintuitive as this may sound, Impa's instruction on what to do next, which is to look for Maku Tree, are not part of the pattern guidance. Since interacting with the NPCs is part of the game mechanics, we will find in further instances of the game that the information they provide would facilitate our progress in the game, but not restrict it. This is because exploration is the core feature of the game. Authors of level design patterns in 2D games suggest that verbal guidance and tutorials are classified as a game design element of teaching or narrative purpose. Verbal instructions and tutorials cannot be considered patterns because they are not commonly seen across most video games. After talking with Impa, the player has more areas to explore. These areas are designed in a way such that no matter what, the player will reach their destination. So, as players, our first task here is to get to the Maku Tree. Here, we could start our quest by taking the right path to eventually reach the Maku Tree area and realise that we cannot enter the Maku Tree area. Alternatively, we could head towards the left and in our exploration find this unusual looking gate. This place happens to be the Hero's Cave, and inside it we will find the sword, but not before having to complete the dungeon. Here again, as in the prologue sequence, we are introduced to another mechanic of the game, the dungeons. We are being guided to identify that if we complete a dungeon, we get a reward. In this case, the sword. Even within the dungeon, you could argue that you are being guided to stumble upon some of the game mechanics, such as puzzle solving. For example, once we get inside this room, we get locked in. We can't go anywhere unless we move the only block that is on the screen. So we move it, and 2 doors open. It's a very similar situation as that of the prologue, where we could not proceed unless we interacted with all the NPCs. Once the door is open, we can now go down either path. If we go down, we will eventually encounter a door that needs a key. So that means we need to take the other path. Here, once we are familiarised with the mechanic of moving a block in the previous room, we are presented with more blocks. Now that we know we can move blocks, it's up to our ingenuity to solve the puzzles. We continue forward to finally get to this room where we must step on a curious looking switch. This triggers a chest to appear. I would not say we were introduced to another mechanic this time, because I consider the core mechanic as puzzle solving, and how you do it could be through moving a block or stepping on a switch, as in this case. We open the chest, get the key, and go to the locked door. We go through the door and again another switch. We now know that we can step on it, but what will happen this time? Another chest? No. This time a door opens. So that means that switches trigger chests to appear and doors to open. Interesting information to bear in mind, possibly for the future. Finally, we get to where the sword is, and we have completed the dungeon. Authors of level design patterns in 2D games state that another common representation of guidance is using environmental cues, such as highlighted tiles, as changing colour or texture of certain tiles in the scene to instigate player curiosity. The entrance to the dungeon, the switches and blocks, all were elements that stood out when we saw them for the first time. After completing the dungeon, we're sent back to the entrance, and guess what? There's a mysterious looking shrub in the middle of the sandy soil, and with the knowledge to use the sword, we cut it, unveiling a new path. Environmental cues at their finest, teasing us to explore even further. Once we have the sword, we can go back to the Maku tree area and open the gate. With the sword in hand, we get access to the area that was previously blocked by the shrubs, just north of Impa's house. We will eventually reach the destination of the first part of the game. As we unlock new items, new areas of the map unfold. The game ingeniously guides us, making us feel like true adventurers. Remember, every item means new possibilities. The Legend of Zelda Oracle of Seasons is a masterpiece of guidance patterns, expertly guiding players both on a macro and a micro level. From captivating limitations on the world map to using interactable objects and environmental cues, the game keeps us spellbound on this epic journey of exploration and discovery. I hope you're as thrilled as I am about the genius behind Oracle of Seasons design. If you're hungry for more epic level design patterns, stay tuned for our next adventure into the world of 2D games. Don't forget to leave your thoughts and questions in the comments below, and if you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you all for joining me on this mesmerising journey through the implementation of guidance in the design of The Legend of Zelda Oracle of Seasons. Until next time, fellow adventurers, may your gaming be filled with endless excitement and wonder. Happy gaming!